So with Marcus out today, we're going to have my puppy Willie stand in for him. Hold on, let me go get the dog microphone. I'll be back.
The dogrophone.
I've got a question for you. Here, come here. Look at this. Okay, he's scared of the microphone, so it's like having early days Marcus with us anyway.
Marcus,
so he never left.
He wants to leave.
Exactly.
He wants to leave now.
The dog is obsessed with you, and you tried to make him podcast, and now he wants to leave. This is what it's like to have friends. This is what it's like to have friends when you have a podcast. It's like, hey, this is awesome. I hope you want to. No, here's a microphone. Here, what do you think? You shove it in their mouth. Here, have this. What do you think?
Just like Marcus, you go to show him things, and he just wants to run away.
Don't worry, buddy. You're only in the intro. You don't have to worry about being in the whole show. Everything's fine. Hey, everybody. I'm Dane Holland.
I'm Austin Shazam Pfeiffer.
And I'm Austin Tiny Zent.
And we are Nerded Through the Grapevine, the podcast where four best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. Three of us today and a puppy that is microphone shy. So he's still staring at the door because he is actually waiting for Marcus to show up. But he's not here with us today because, as per usual, he's a very busy man. And the rest of us have taken on the mantle of the weekend podcast, so we're going to take care of it. He had an idea of a topic for us to talk about this weekend. He was very excited about it.
Yeah.
About all of it. But then yesterday he was like, so I'm not going to be able to make it. And we're like, oh, okay. Well, I guess we just won't talk about that thing we've been hyped up for a week to talk about. So instead, we're going to do 3 Dopes and Some Tropes, which is a name that I had come up with for this segment, which I hope is okay. But in Tiny, when I texted that to the group,
I was very confused.
I'm just like drugs? Like methamphetamine?
Tiny is thinking, as Dane said, 3 Dopes and Some Tropes. He's like, oh, God, I hope I don't get the bad one.
I know. Nobody wants the bad drug.
3 different dopes.
I'll do the acetaminophen.
It's so funny to me when people call marijuana dope.
Oh, I hate it.
Your dad is one of those people that call marijuana dope, and it's just really funny to me.
Freaking boomers.
I've never known it to be called that.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, too, because, I mean, he's not saying it in a derogatory way.
Right.
He's not calling it like a bad word. That was just their slang for it. But I'm like, Dad, that's meth now?
Yeah.
That's meth now.
That's
technically anything that takes you from baseline would be dope. So nicotine is dope. Caffeine is dope.
You're right on both of those
that
statements.
What dope
Corn
means?
is dope.
Is that what dope means?
I mean,
what is the actual definition of dope? Do you guys even know?
I'm just assuming that it's anything that takes you from sobriety.
Dopamine receptors, something that lights them up, provides happiness.
A drug taken illegally for recreational purposes, especially marijuana or heroin. That's quite a leap.
What's the
in drugs?
Not federally.
Look,
not federally. No,
they're basically the same thing.
Yeah. A ton of people with marijuana track marks all over the place. I mean,
I've seen it.
I want the Mary Jane in my vein. But the second definition for dope is a stupid person. So that's what I was going with.
Oh.
3 stupid people talking about tropes for the episode, because it's a lot of fun doing that.
Well,
I think
the thing about looking up tropes, and especially with tvtropes.org, is you can go through, you can kind of sift through what you like, what you don't like a little bit, because all you got to do is click the blue button. Just keep on clicking that blue button, and surely if you've got a stupid brain like mine, you can go through there and you're like, oh, that's in this. Oh, this trope's in this a lot. And it's not all Ezekiah anime.
No, well, it's kind of like the Stephen King thing, to where everything is, technically written by Stephen King. He created the everything.
Yeah.
Everything is Ezekiah. When you really get down to the bare bones of it all.
Yeah, absolutely. Even your favorite story of all time told in an animated movie form is in Ezekiah.
Like the Bible?
Why not? Yeah, why not?
I mean,
why not?
Look, I mean, Stephen King wrote it.
He did.
It takes you to another world. It makes you happy. So it's a dope Ezekiah.
Into the Spider-Verse, the best Ezekiah.
I I want to start off with something that two of us can relate to and the other one cannot. This trope is called bald of authority.
Ooh.
To where those of us that are bald, we aren't represented a whole lot in
Professor
media.
X.
Right? Professor X. Boom. Lex Luthor. He a bad boy, but at the same time, very powerful, strong.
Still in
person,
authority.
Still in authority.
Kojak.
Who's Kojak?
Sorry, that's a dated reference, but he was a detective on the television who had a bald head.
Was he a bald man?
He was a bald man.
Okay, well, good. Well, a lot of times whenever they do have a bald person in the different TV shows or movies and things, apparently they have some type of authority, because the less hair you have on top of your head, the more knowledge must be within.
That's why he's changed his name recently to Dwayne the Bald Johnson.
Oh, that would explain why he has too much power right now.
Yeah. Well, for the Game of Thrones people.
The Bald Johnson? Is that what you're laughing at right now? You're laughing at the Bald Johnson.
I didn't think about it as it was coming out of my mouth. Oh, come on. That didn't sound good either.
I heard that he's a really nice guy.
So
and
smooth.
And he raps so well.
Did a shot of mouthwash with his tequila.
What were you saying?
It's about drive. It's about power.
We stay hungry. We're the bald.
Damn, we might as well make that one of the buttons on the soundboard because we reference it enough. What were you saying about Game of Thrones?
Sirio Farrell, the dancing instructor. He was bald in the books, not necessarily in the show.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because I haven't read the book, so I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
The Tyrion's buddy, the eunuch,
Varys.
Varys.
Yeah.
Varys,
Well,
whatever. Yeah,
the Welshman who I've been listening to. He's Varys.
Varys. Then I'm going to go with that being the right way. He is also bald and has a lot of sneaky power, some behind the scenes
He's
power.
the spider.
I really like. Yes. So yeah, it appears that maybe because bald people aren't in many things as main characters, they're like, if we are going to put them in there, they need to stand out as far as like being powerful goes.
Does the Hound count? Because he was half bald due to burns.
Ooh,
Maybe he's only half as powerful.
half as powerful. Yeah. I would definitely put it that way. So I really liked that one when I pulled that one up, because it made me feel powerful in the moment, and seeing that those like me and Tiny are represented with so much power.
Exactly.
That's pretty interesting.
What one did you find?
I found quite a few. Let me see which one I want to unleash. New friend envy.
Okay.
New friend envy. It's one of those things that where you've got your stereotypical, like your two characters are best friends, and we've grown up together. My wife's watching a show about that right now that happens throughout the entire show. It's called Firefly Lane. So it's pretty much like, oh, we're best friends. We'll be best friends for life. We got a new best friend coming into the crew. I hate your new best friend. She doesn't deserve you.
I'm just going to say...
I'm glad you did. That's a very good
glad
point.
we got that
I
out
was
in the
going to say,
open.
but
That's such a good
I got a little
point.
verklempt. You started off with the word firefly, and I got really excited. Then you said lane, then I got really disappointed.
Yeah. I mean, because you think to yourself, like, Firefly, and then it's like, oh, a street of a name that's a chick show. It's
mean,
actually not a bad
It's
show.
good. I like it.
I was having all this dope firing off in my brain, and then you just quashed it with the sadness of reality.
You quashed his dope.
Yeah.
So it's where you've been best friends forever, and it's mainly just been the two of you, and then a third appears.
Yes, and it could be, like you're best friends with this dude, and you're a chick, and then all of a sudden you get a boyfriend, and then all of a sudden, it's that classic just friends scenario, and then you've got, the thing with the girl, and then the girl will get a new best friend who now challenges the position in that original best friend's life. A
lot of time it takes place in like high school, to where the person from another school joins yours and they've transferred, and now they're becoming part of your friend group.
Yeah.
But oh no, they're the new best friend, and there's no room for two people in your life. It has to be one, and that's it. So you
now
can't
they're-
have a three best
So
friends.
And
now
they're
I have to-
always cooler than you.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's why you have to kill them.
Wait, what?
Well, it just
Highlander.
depends on what show you're watching.
What if you could do that in all of them? What if that
all
was
of them?
always an option? Like anytime you saw the jealous best friend, you're like, someone could die tonight. Like no matter what the show you were watching.
Oh man, if it was
Disney, like even the Disney kids shows.
That'd be so much better.
I would hate for that to be me in high school if it was one of those shows to where every time that a chick you're friends with got a new boyfriend and you had a crush on her and you just killed the boyfriend.
Oh no.
Well, that's how you win the lady.
Because it's the just friend scenario. It's always like, oh no, that's just my friend. What? That's news to me.
Well, that would be a good
Friend zone plus ultra. We've all been there.
That'd be a good serial killer
Indra.
story, right?
Yep.
The best friend like kills every single boyfriend that the person has, but no one can even piece together the fact that that's what they all have in common.
Yeah.
Is that they're the new boyfriend every single time.
Because who's there to pick up the pieces?
The best friend.
Tiny. The best friend.
Yeah.
Oh man. Am I encroaching on your friendship? Could one of us die tonight?
We're like a thruple
There's
at
a
this point.
Okay, yeah.
When Marcus is here, we're like a quadruple.
Yeah. I don't think anybody
Quadruple?
could come between that. Quadruple?
Yeah, I was trying to bash, like quadruple and couple.
Quuple?
Quadruple.
Quuple?
Quuple.
And
That just sounds
Yeah, that sounds dirty.
and whoever's doing that with their toe, it's not really doing anything for me. So thanks, but you can stop.
So I found one because I just decided to go off the cuff because it sounded like fun. Mm-hmm. And the first one that I randomly to was Rolling Pin of Doom.
Rolling Pin of Doom?
Yeah, it's where a rolling pin is used as a weapon, often aimed at someone's head, most often wielded by a cook or else a woman, especially of the apron matron persuasion, whatever that means.
Apron matron persuasion?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's another trope.
That's hard to say even once.
I know, that's why I said
three
it
times
slowly.
fast.
Well, because as soon as you say that, as it being a common trope, the rolling pin, you can see fights that happen in kitchens. What do they instantly go for? Is it always the bladed weapons? Nay,
No.
nay,
Rolling
says
pin.
I. Blunt force trauma is what they go for with a rolling pin. And to think about getting hit in the head with a rolling pin, that's just like my great aunt used to hit my great grandfather with he would always aggravate her. It's brother sister kind of thing. He would always aggravate her about a fake leg that she had. And he would sing "Sal's Got a Wooden Leg," so they say. Just it's an old song, and she would hit him with a cast iron skillet.
So would that release serotonin in him since it wasn't dope?
He was getting his vitamins and minerals from his daily dose of iron.
Well, I mean, if dopamine's good, then serotonin's bad, right?
Ooh, I don't know. It depends on how your
any of
brain's
that
balanced.
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll have to.
I don't get any of either of it, so it's fine.
We have a friend who's a pharmacist. We'll get him on here one of these
Sure.
days to talk about this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, anytime I see the cast iron skillet hit somebody, like the rolling pin, yes, painful. Ow.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a softer baseball bat, right? Just a little bit softer than the baseball bat.
Shorter baseball bat.
Shorter baseball bat, right.
It's
But
like the dagger of baseball bats.
yeah,
Oh man! So
like the
rolling pin.
bat dagger.
Yeah, the rolling pin is the dagger to the broadsword of the baseball bat.
Okay, I'm smelling what you're stepping in.
But even growing up, seeing the cast iron skillet hitting somebody in the head, it's funny. It's usually used as like a more of a funny kind of thing. But then getting older and realizing while using cast iron to cook, that's gonna kill a man
That's
every time. If they get hit that hard with a cast iron skillet, it's game over.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, it don't feel good. My mama whacked me in the chest with one time.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I was 13 and I said something bad to my mother.
Oh no.
I called her a name.
No.
I felt brave, and then I learned that I was no longer the brave little toaster. Because she told me after she whacked me with it.
Because while he's laying on the
Yeah.
laying on the ground, not being able to breathe correctly, he's just hearing dun 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 dun.
Pretty much. Like, my mother was 5'9"-ish, and I'm 6'5", so just to show you the height difference. She looked at me and she said, "Boy, you got to sleep sometime."
Oh no, that's terrifying.
Yeah, especially after you just got whacked with an iron skillet. So you decide to, cease your shenanigans.
That is the Iron Skillet is a great name for several things: superheroes, restaurants,
It's a sex move.
a sex move.
Yeah.
It could be
Ooh.
absolutely.
Because of the seasoning.
Yes, because of the proper seasoning. You got to get all that Kentucky jelly smeared all over everything for nonstick. You got
And
it.
you got to bake it on there. And instead of, cleaning it with soap and water, you wipe off the excess. apply a fresh layer, and put it in the oven.
Well, that's
I was just trying in my head to make all that make sense.
and you were trying to innuendo his.
Yeah. And I'm like, I don't know, man. This goes so many different ways.
I'm like, okay, I get it. Okay, that can happen.
I
That can
lapsed into
happen.
realism. I'm sorry.
That can happen. Wait, did I turn into the witch from Hansel and Gretel? What am I doing? Have I just candied my wife? I baked my wife in the oven because of you. Damn you, iron skillet. I got another one for you.
Please.
How can Santa deliver all those toys?
No one knows.
That is-
magic. Other than magic.
That is always one of the most obvious, this is what the story's going to be about kind of intros to stuff. You got like, well, how can Santa deliver all those toys in one night? It's always what you're going to get into before you have this deep magical journey into what Santa World's going to be like with Tim Allen or Kurt Russell, which I tend to like a lot.
That was
too.
that was the recent one, right?
Yeah, the Christmas Chronicles 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I'm okay
They were
with
entertaining.
I'm okay with a blues rock Santa Claus. That's fine with me.
And that makes me think of the magic system within Santa's realm. It's kind of a soft magic system because it's never really explained as far as like how that magic works. It's just he can change sizes depending on chimneys, or all the presents exist in a transdimensional bag.
Which is awesome. He has a bag of holding.
Yeah,
does.
yeah, that's
He
what it
does.
is.
Santa's bag is legitimately a bag of holding. Probably a bag of what? Greater holding? Is that a thing?
No, it's just a bag of holding.
Yeah. But greater hold, that's whenever the bag of holding has a bag of holding inside of it.
I don't think you can do that.
That would cause a black hole, right?
Well, that's when you turn it inside out. Well, the bag of holding is the like top shelf transdimensional bag item. There's other along the way, like the handy haversack that, smaller pocket dimension.
Mm-hmm.
So the bag of holding is, the thing to strive for.
They need to make an Ezekiel anime that Santa Claus is involved in, because item box is what he uses to transport all the it's a spell in an RPG, item box, where you can store all the things.
Well, you could even have him, the Ezekiel could be Santa accidentally falling into the bag, and now he's in the gift world, to where there's a whole system that works in there that we're not aware of.
I just realized that Nightmare Before Christmas is an Ezekiel.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Jeez.
It's fucking everything.
everything.
It's everything.
It's everything.
But yeah, but the reason for this trope is because it is introduced to be like the person of logic speaking to the believer of Santa Claus.
Right.
Like, oh yeah. So it's just this.
How does he get
Well, yeah, you just gotta believe in Santa, and Christmas is real.
I think even more so on that trope is whenever Santa can't do it and someone else has to step in, and then they've got to find a way either to do it without the Santa magic, or they're imbued with the Santa magic for that evening. I feel like a lot of times in a lot of Santa stories, it's Santa isn't even the one doing the job.
Yeah.
Like it's somebody else having to fill in.
Like the elves are, just massive cogs in like Santa is literally the hands on the clock to everything else
right.
that the elves are doing. And Mrs. Claus, she needs her own story a little bit more often, because she's always with Santa. She should have magic too. He can't just be this magic guy with this old maid that stays at the house.
I just had a brain explosion.
I thought I smelled something.
Oh, jeez.
A D&D campaign based in the North Pole, with the sub-race of elves being Santa's elves.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yes.
How amazing could this be?
You could have an owl bear as like a Yeti. Like you can do those stats for a Yeti. What do you think?
He could just have a pet owl bear. I mean, who cares?
Yeah.
There is actual Yeti stats, by the way.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think
Oh,
I
there's
knew that.
so many monsters.
No, I'm sure.
But yeah. Oh, dude. How
That
cool
would be
that
fun. That would be a good Christmas time
They're like,
episode.
they kill motherfuckers with the power of Christmas.
Oh my gosh. And your
Candy cane swords.
and your bard doesn't have a lute, he has a jingle bell set.
And for inclusivity, we have a paladin that celebrates Hanukkah.
Perfect. Can we do this for a Christmas episode this year? A one shot?
Please.
I have to play. No, can it be Kwanzaa?
We can have one of them
We can
too.
have everything.
Because I really want to talk like Orisa from Overwatch the whole time.
We're like what is it, Oligarian or whatever, where it's like all inclusive.
Is that the all-in-one?
Yeah, like the all inclusive thing. I think that's the right term.
Yes.
That's cool. Yeah, I like that term. It's like oligarchy.
Marcus said it one time talking about Star Wars.
He knows
so I was
a lot
trying to
more
pull,
words
I
than
was
we
trying
do.
to pull it out of my head.
See, so in that situation, I feel like Santa being the bad guy's been done before. Would Santa be more of like the king that's hired us to do the mission?
I see him as a benevolent god type figure.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, and like everybody's working for Santa, but they never really get to see Santa. They just believe that Santa exists, and they know that Santa is doing what they need him to do as far as these good deeds are going. But his physical interaction with all of Santa's followers just does not happen, like the great and powerful Oz.
I mean, I can get on board with
Yeah,
that.
sure. We got a lot of time, but we got like 7 months to figure this out.
Santa? Nobody
I'm
sees
gonna-
Santa.
I'm
Not
gonna
no
start
way. Not no how.
Nice.
So another one moving on from that would be the bad guy bar. And I really like the bad guy bar because it's a place where it's understood this is where all the villains and the people with warrants and the most atrocious things that they could possibly do, the people are in the same place at the same time. But it's kind of understood that that place is off limits for even like superheroes to go bust up or the cops to show up. It's just their peaceful little place that they get to go.
Yeah, they're relaxing,
Yeah.
between episodes of Skullduggery.
Yes, exactly. Oh, by the way, way off topic, but there's a magic card called Skullduggery, and I got a copy for you.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
That's one of my favorite words.
I know it is. And when I saw it, I was like, ooh, this is Tiny's now. So, yes, I thought of you immediately when I saw that. But I really like the bad guy bar because you get to see a lot of times like the bad guys that don't really interact with one another, they get to go there and hang out and be as close to normal people, I guess you could say, normies, as possible.
Like Vader having a drink with Thanos.
Yes.
And they did that in Wreck-It Ralph. But
Did they?
It was more of like a talkie session that they all went to.
That was like an AA meeting,
Yeah,
but
it was
the
all
Eagles.
villains.
Yeah.
And then if you ever watched any Disney Channel, you would have known maybe House of Mouse. They had a House of Villains section that happened for a little while.
What?
And it was where it was hosted by the villains, and it was only villains in the episode sitting in the audience and da.
That's fun.
Yeah, so it was pretty cool.
That's neat. I think my favorite character in any of the bad guy bars is the bartender because they're always like, they just seem like the nicest, best person, but they're probably the one with the most war crimes of anybody in the
I
building.
don't know. I feel like they're like the most NPC person, and that's what makes them so great.
Yes.
They're like super innocent, just like, hey, what can I get for you today?
just a guy.
Well, they're just surrounded by like the worst people.
Ah, shit, it's just like Deadpool. Deadpool literally took place in the bad guy bar 3/4 of the movie.
Well, that's true.
Did it? Oh, wait, it did.
Yeah, literal
forgot
bad
about
guy
that.
bar. Everybody's there as a mercenary. The bartender's like, well, what'll I get you, Wade?
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
a perfect example
Yeah,
of it.
between the cocaine jokes and the ass cracks and everything
And
else.
the
like
avocado joke.
And the
The avocado, the map,
testicles.
Yeah,
Yeah.
testicles.
Yeah.
Testicles are in that one too.
Yeah,
blind.
all of those. So I found one that just tickles me in a way. Academic alpha bitch. It's somebody who's very good at, their schooling, and they're aggressive about it. Like, I got all A's. What'd you get? And it's just like every high school chick flick movie ever.
That's like 3/4 of all anime too. You're always gonna.
Yeah. It's like the opposite of the stereotypical male bully, because the stereotypical male bully is the jock. It's the dummy who's the strong one that's good at sports.
Right.
And with this one, on the ladies' side, it's like the super smart one that makes everybody feel worse about themselves because how smart they are.
You only wish that your IQ could even compare to mine.
You have watched a lot of anime with that in it.
It's absolutely a good. But because
Do those two end up together? Like a lot of times, the jock and the alpha smart one.
The academic alpha bitch.
Yes.
I feel like they could.
I think they intersect a lot because it's just more of like a stereotype, because you've got like what else is she going to go for? Somebody her own type that's also intelligent? No, she needs somebody to protect her head.
Yeah. One of those.
She needs a human helmet. Like, come on.
helmet.
You might as well call him like a blunt force, like a nickname. Like, come on, club, let's go.
He's named something stupid like Lance or Jonathan.
Oh, that's good.
Jonathan Gaines
or Tomlathan.
Jonathan Gaines with a Z.
Jonathan Gaines is such a good name.
Jonathan Gaines is my alias now. I thought your name was just Jonathan Gaines.
And it's Tomathan. Tomathan is the
I
name.
always add the L to make it
You
dumber.
always add the L. But one of my favorite made-up names that I've had, which someone else has probably done it before, but Tomathan to me just sounds really good.
I can see that.
But Tomathan and what was it?
Jonathan?
Jonathan? They could be twins.
Yeah.
Oh, one of them could be the smart alpha bitch and the other one could be the dumbass jock.
Ooh.
But wait, which one?
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You're
It doesn't
right. Who
matter.
cares?
I mean, Jonathan is a very gender-neutral
It
name.
is. And they could even swap like back and forth because they're twins and no one
Yeah.
would know the difference.
And they love each other and they get married because...
Wait. Hold,
because this is feudal Europe.
What? Oh, and they have to?
Yeah, and this is a song of ice and fire.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Where Targaryens wed each other.
Oh my God. My brain was going into a different spot than what yours was doing. And I was trying to make my own thing happen in my brain to set the scene. And they were about to kiss then the Targaryen happened. And then, okay, we got to move on.
I'm going to have to make an apology. I've been consuming so much Game of Thrones, just back and forth between the books and the show, just to see the differences. That's automatically where my brain's been going.
The references will be flowing.
Yeah, so I'm just going to apologize for everybody who hates that.
I don't care
You're going to have to deal with it for a while.
I don't care if you're my sister. I love you and I love you that way.
The things I do for love, Jenny.
And I will do that.
I love you that way, not like a sister, but that way. That's fine, you moron.
Do you guys know what the pineapple surprise is?
Did that happen to Hitler and Little Nicky?
That's exactly what I was thinking.
It's time for your daily shoppings, Mr. Hitler.
No, but
That would be a pineapple surprise.
It would. It really would. But in this sense, the pineapple surprise is where you plant the grenade on somebody and you pull the pin and they don't know it's there until you show the pin that you've shown them and then they blow up from it.
Kind of like putting eye drops in someone's drink and then you show them the little eye drops and
Oh, no.
they're going to shit themselves so hard.
That is basically the same thing because that's worse than a grenade, honestly.
Also, don't do that. That's assault.
With a grenade, it's over with. But with the diarrhea you're going to get from that, that's lasting for a minute and you have to live beyond it.
And you'll wish that it was over with.
Exactly. I just thought it was really funny to be called the pineapple surprise because it's happened in so many action flicks. And
It just sounds so nice and wholesome, though.
It does. It sounds like a dessert.
It's like, look, I brought you a fresh pineapple because I know you love pineapple.
surprise.
I would be so happy.
The example, which a lot of these, if not all of them, give some kind of photo and then a little quip underneath of an example of it. And this is from a movie called The Heat. Shannon says, "Guess you and her engaged now, huh? Drug lord. What? Sarah, well, 'cause," shows the grenade pin. "You just gave me a ring, motherfucker." And then the drug lord says, "Oh, shit." And then he blows up. So that's the example from that. But that pretty much, it applies to all of them in the exact same way.
Right.
You just, either they've already got the, what is it called?
Seatbelt.
It's kind of like a seatbelt, but it's got a bunch of grenades on it.
Bandolier.
Bandolier, thank you. It's the classic bandolier. And then you do...
I got all your pins
yeah,
on my
all of
fingies.
them are on each finger. Yeah. That super ninja move. And then they can't take it off, and then they blow up. That's the pineapple surprise.
That sounds awful.
Yeah, it's a bad way to go, but as we had discussed, a lot better than the pineapple surprise, which is eye drops in the drink,
Yeah.
which is assault, like Tiny mentioned.
That's a bad time.
I just prefer the, hey, I got you a pineapple. Are you surprised?
Yeah,
That's the preferable version of this.
Oh, or we can make our own version of it where we plant a part of a pineapple in a jar, like in the little pot, and then we give it to somebody, and then later it grows, and they're like, well, your plant will grow later, and it actually grows a pineapple.
Ooh, that's a good one. Like, I got you a plant because you like plants, but you don't tell them what it is.
All they can see is the leaves growing out. So then,
Yeah.
Months later, surprise,
It's a pineapple.
it's a pineapple.
Yes, I like that too.
But it's actually a grenade.
Oh, I don't like that.
No.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know until you cut into the pineapple because then
Right.
it explodes.
I mean,
And
that
that's where
could
it is.
lead to an awkward stoplight moment.
Is stoplight moment your thing?
Yeah. It was awkward
Good.
stoplight moment. Like, the one that pops in my head is that movie White Girls. Terry Crews is sitting there in the...
White Chicks.
White Chicks, yes. Sitting there in his little convertible singing that song, and there's the two dudes doing the detective thing. It was great, and it was kind of awkward.
That is... I'm trying to think of all
Making
the
my way
different...
downtown.
I know that. I know in my head the stoplight. You said awkward stoplight moment?
Yeah, it's just two people at a stoplight, and they look at each other, and something awkward happens, and they're
Yes.
stuck there for a minute.
That happens all the time in real life. Most
does.
of the time, it's me catching somebody else with their finger in their nose.
Or that's you looking in the rearview mirror and you notice it's your finger in your nose, and then you look over and it's somebody with their finger in their nose, and you both have that moment of like, we're both human. Everybody's going to do it.
I mean, I got seen at a stoplight examining my nipple one time, so it could be worse.
How?
I got
What?
stung. There was a bee in my car, and so I was making sure I was okay.
That's one of the worst places to have a
I
bee.
know, and I'm just sitting there looking to make sure I'm okay.
And you've always
And
had
then somebody looks at me, and I look at them like, I swear to God, this is not as weird as it seems.
And you've always had like fully fleshed out, like good size man chest. So I mean, having a bee sting on top of that too,
I know,
it's like
it
you
hurt.
have a new set growing. You know,
I know. I had like a puffy nipple.
I think for me, the most awkward thing would be like it's at the stoplight. I'm a few cars back, so I have to put it in park and do the thing where you got to reach back into the back seat. So somebody looks over and your ass is just in the air in the driver's side while you're digging around in the back seat. And it's just the scariest. It feels like whenever you're a kid in the grocery store line and your parent leaves and you're sitting there while they're checking out all the stuff, because you don't know, you're going to go to jail if they end up getting to the part where they tell you how much it costs and your parent's not there to pay for it. Like, you're going to go to prison. So I feel like whenever I have to put the car in park at a stoplight, that feels that way to where whatever it is I'm doing, it has to be done before the light turns green or a police officer is going to take me to jail.
Immediately.
See, I was thinking something along those same lines, but what's happening is you're at a stoplight. The person like in the passenger seat is rolling up a joint, and they're not being very inconspicuous about it. And then the person who pulls up next to you at the stoplight is, of course, the cop.
Yeah.
And they see what you're doing, and then here comes the chase scene.
Cheech and Chong, very Cheech and
Yes,
Chong.
that's exactly what I was about to say. Cheech and Chong up in smoke.
Yeah.
Hey, are you going to eat that hot dog?
I liked it was Tommy Chong's stand up that he did about that. He said he actually did get in trouble one time, but it wasn't bad because the cop let him go. But he was stopped at a stop sign, and he put his car in park, and he forgot he was at the stop sign. So then a cop came over and pulled up behind him and put his lights on. He's like, "I'm just waiting for it to turn green, man."
Look, we've all done that in a high at least once.
I have. Yep.
You just get in the robot mode. So I get.
It's where you're thinking, it's like where you warp through time when you're driving on the interstate. All of a sudden, you're like at your destination. You have no idea how you got there,
Yep.
and all the fears of how many people you could have killed, like that were
And
apparently
probably killed.
and probably did, but you wouldn't know
Right.
if it happened or not. That's me whenever I've stopped at a stop sign and just waited. Or the opposite, where you stop at a red light and there's no cars around, so you just go because you think in your head, well, I stopped already, so now I get to go. I'm very lucky that I haven't been pulled over for that one, because I think it's happened more times than I'd like to admit.
I feel like I've done that once.
I've done it many more times than once, I believe.
Well, you remember the one stoplight in our hometown that would stay red for like 20 minutes at a time?
Screw that,
And
man.
you was the only one there?
Screw that. If no
Yeah,
one's around,
no,
I'm going. I'm gone.
I'm like, I'll even argue with the cop on that one. I'm like,
Come
I
on,
sat
man.
there for like 15 minutes one day.
You get it.
That's how I found out it was broken. Because I'm like, there's nobody coming. What's up with this? And then you keep telling yourself, any second now.
Yeah. I don't
Any-
want to break
any
the
second
law.
now. And then you look at the clock on the radio that doesn't work except for the clock, and you're like, I've been here 15 minutes. And you're like, to heck with this, man.
And as soon as you
As soon as you go, it
that's when the
changes.
lights. No, that's when the cop lights also shows up. You've been sitting there for 15 minutes. No one's around. All right, I'm going to run it. Woo, woo, woo. What about when katanas are just better? The trope of katanas are just better, because if you have a main character with a sword It doesn't matter how many guns there are in the area, how many pineapple surprises you've got ready to show them. The katana is going to win every time.
Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
Yep.
Very katana heavy.
Oh, yeah. The bride, that's like all she uses.
Yeah, but that's all you have to use because apparently it's just better that way.
I mean, she waylaid hundreds of people.
Yes, it is cooler to me because guns are, dime a dozen. But somebody that wields a sword, there's something magical behind it. And that, I think that's why. That we have this like almost romanticized relationship with the sword bearer and how they're just better than in every way than those that use guns.
And the ceremonial aspect of the katana being that it was like the main weapon of the samurai.
Yeah.
And the obsession with samurai culture. And if you're thinking to yourself like, well, what kind of sword do I want? Most of the time it's going to be a katana because it's the most practical. It comes with a dope sheath.
And it makes a cool noise that it doesn't make in real life when you pull it out of the sheath.
Shink. Shink. You know what it sounds like when you pull it out in real life?
But if you're a Ninja Turtle, though, guns won't matter anyway because, you might be Leonardo with your swords, but the guns are just going to bounce off your shell. But not everybody that wields a katana is a Ninja Turtle.
No.
I'd actually say all but one sword wielders are Ninja Turtles, right? Or no, are not Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
Everybody. If there was
go backwards.
I looked at my skin to make sure I wasn't green.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, are we Ninja Turtles too?
What the shell?
But I always like for me, the bow staff is always better to me than the katana because that's even more like less lethal than the katana is.
I mean, it depends. It depends where you whack them.
Or and who's using it.
And kind of with the sword too. With the sword, it depends how you whack them, not necessarily where you whack them.
Right.
Yeah, and the bow staff was the reason that I was approached, by that local gang, and they wanted me to be a part of their crew because of my bow staff skills.
Like a lion and a tiger mixed, bred for its skills and magic.
Is this Napoleon Dynamite?
Yes, it was.
Okay, cool. Well, I thought it was nunchuck.
Bow staff
was
skills.
bow staff?
Bow
Vote
staff
for
skills.
Pedro.
Didn't he have nunchuck skills?
He also had sick nunchuck skills,
Cool.
but the local gang approached him because of his bow
because
staff
of the bow
skills.
staff. Got it.
Yeah,
He was almost all Ninja Turtles in one.
he was.
So close.
Yeah, and he was such a good artist.
Well, also, holy shit, no, he walked around and he did sigh all the time. So he's just like
See?
Raphael. He's got the sighs.
The katana's the only thing that he didn't have.
He had a llama that rhymes with the katana.
It hurts
I'll
me.
give it to
It
you.
hurts
I'll give it to
me
you.
that you took my boy Raph and threw him in there.
Why?
Why?
He would be so upset.
No, he wouldn't.
Always upset.
What he would be upset about was the shower scene. And shower scene is an all genre type of trope. It just depends on why it's there. Most of the time, the shower scene is going to be a little bit more based on the fan servicey character, like being, nude. Or it's going to be a setup for something that's happening. And it all started with Psycho. Psycho's shower scene was the kind of kick in the door for I'm taking a shower, now bad things can happen to me.
Is that why I'm terrified sometimes late at night taking a shower?
Yes,
Yeah.
because it is now in our genetic codes as humans, thanks to that movie, that if we're in the shower and we close our eyes, something's there.
I mean,
You
can see that.
Now that's a superpower you bald men don't have to worry about that much because you don't have to shampoo your head.
That's true. So we don't have to close
Well,
our eyes if we don't want to.
You got to wash your head, but you don't.
I use conditioner to shave it, so it's kind of the same thing.
Conditioners are really good.
And I do shampoo my scalp.
I use my beard soap on my scalp because I don't want to let those suds go to waste.
Right.
Because the soap's a little more expensive.
Yeah, it has the word beard in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. That's all it takes.
I do have a protective house hippo that guards me when I bathe, so I shouldn't really be scared.
That is true.
Yeah, mine doesn't guard. She sleeps.
Well, you should have got a house hippo instead of
We have a Willie. He's close enough.
instead of a pom pom.
I love
She is adorable.
So
though.
Psycho was the one to where you see the outline of the big butcher knife on the other side of or is
Yeah.
that a different one?
ink.
The-
Yeah,
That's Psycho?
Yeah.
Okay. And that was the one that kind of introduced
introduce
the terror of the shower.
Yes, terror of the shower
See,
scene.
my favorite shower scene is the one to where the hero has their hand on the wall and their head down and the water just pouring over their back as they contemplate on the actions of either what had just occurred or
what's
what they're
about
about
to.
to have to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're already washing the filth off their body of all the murdering they're about to have to do.
Preemptive filth wash.
Yeah.
Or the post filth wash off.
Yeah, right.
Well, that movie Mr. Brooks has a shower scene like that, and I wouldn't really say he's a hero.
I don't think I saw Mr. Brooks.
Oh, it's so good. Kevin Costner.
Really?
Yeah, I don't want to say too much.
Action man?
It's so good.
He's an action man?
Well, he's kind of like Dexter.
He has a
Except,
lab.
except not. He's a serial killer.
Okay.
But it's more like an addiction for him, and he's trying to not kill.
Oh, you don't mean he lives with his parents and has a secret laboratory?
No, he lives by himself, and he's like super rich and has kids.
Oh, and that's kind of his way of getting out of his mundane rich man life.
Well, you just gotta
watch it. Don't
Like
I?
it's so
Yeah,
good.
You're right. I like Costner. I'm totally down
he's
for that.
fantastic, and Dane Cook's in it.
Also,
Really?
Yeah,
there's also other ones too that kind of revolve around the shower trope.
Porky's.
Yes, Porky's, the peeping. Yep, the peeping one. But also like the shower of awkward, because that involves anything to do with water. You know, whether it be like you're swimming or you're in the shower or something like that, and the water's too cold, much like George Costanza.
Oh, yeah.
I was in the pool. That falls into that trope as well, because as you know, cold water make things happen.
Well, the worst thing that's ever
Shrinky-dink.
the worst the worst thing that's ever happened to me in a shower was I was at I think it was whenever I was working at Dollywood, and I was staying in the cabins, and I was taking a shower, and someone that wasn't there with us, they came to visit. I didn't know they were there, and they got the whole ice bucket, the whole ice water thing in a bucket, and just dumped it over me while I was in the shower.
A stranger did that to you?
I knew the stranger, but in the moment, it was a stranger
Gotcha.
because I didn't see who did it. So, the whole fear of something happening to you while your eyes are closed, it did happen to me. So
It hurts so bad.
it does hurt. Ice hitting you in the face, but also that sudden shock.
From hot to super cold.
It was
That's why I have a shower knife.
That's not the same as the poop knife, right?
No, it's not. It's not the same as the poop knife or
Okay.
the shower orange. The shower knife is solely for protection.
Yeah. Plus,
The others, they're more utilities. The other things are.
yeah.
if he has an accident in the shower, he can just stomp it down the drain.
No, you just put it in your hand and toss it.
Just
It's not that far away. It's like a 2-foot toss.
yeah, if you can't make that toss.
If you can't ring toss 2 feet away, you got bigger problems.
Well, if it's in my hand, then I gotta.
You're in the
think
shower.
about that
I
one.
don't do that. But the shower scene can actually segue into another common trope, which is going to be the parachute, makeshift parachute trope, which say you're in danger, somebody's attacking you in the shower, you have to get away. What are you going to do? Well, I'm going to kick the person in the chest, rip off my shower curtain, jump out the window, and and I'm going to hold my shower curtain over my head and safely float my ass to safety. So says the TV.
So you're in the shower on a plane.
Yes.
Yes. And all of a sudden, it's just me and my nakedness just floating through the sky, and then and that's not the sound of the curtain.
Nope.
And then I finally touch down, and I'm right next to somebody that's on filming cable news, and I can't and I can't help it because I just makeshift parachuted my way down to the ground, and they say like, "Oh my God, what are you doing here?" I just flew in from Chicago, and boy, are my arms tired.
I would have done more of a bat wing hang glider situation.
A little cooler.
Yeah.
Well,
It'd
that
have
makes
been like Batman.
that makes me think of the umbrella. You're thinking of a naked Batman, right?
Oh, the hang glider suit. Oh, God, I got so lightheaded.
Lucius, I said I wanted this in black, not in skin tone.
This is nuts.
You sounded like Morty.
It's the Mary Poppins umbrella parachute move.
Yeah.
Not real.
Not
Can't
real.
happen.
Absolutely
There's no
not.
way.
The second that a slightly strong wind hits your umbrella, it flips inside out.
Yeah, and in the same like Batman world, the Penguin uses that all the time.
As a helicopter.
his. So Batman has his naked skin suit Batwing.
Scrote. This is Nightwing.
Oh, I hate the visual of that.
That is not his Nightwing. That's Dick.
If he was uncircumcised, it'd be a Red Hood.
Hold on, I gotta go get the tea. I gotta get the tea off the stove. The kettle's boiling.
Oh, what about the final boss? The final boss trope. And this is mainly when I think of that, I think of in video games, to where you face all the mini bosses throughout the game, and it builds up to the one big fight at the end. In something like Sonic, you're facing the same bad guy in smaller versions throughout the whole thing until finally, for whatever reason, they didn't bring out their big mechanical bad big boss suit to begin with to take care of the situation. You finally face down the big baddie. And then sometimes it's all the little things they've done as the mini bosses put together in some big boss way to where your journey has now brought you to where you're ready to fight the big bad.
I didn't even know about what a final boss was when I first played Mega Man X, and I completed it as a child.
You beat Mega Man X as a kid?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's impressive.
But I didn't actually win. I got to the end. I couldn't, because Sigma, of course, you don't get many spots that you can go back to in your game, but it was a place that would hold your progress on a Nintendo, Super Nintendo cartridge. It would hold your progress. Like if you went to this spot, save and continue was an option on there.
Whoa.
Neat.
Yeah, I remember that now. But what happens is you defeat Sigma. He's got a lightsaber. He's a lightsaber-wielding robo cyborg dude that's the mastermind of all these things you've had to defeat along the way. And once you defeat him, you're like, as a kid, you know the way things go. You fight somebody, their health is depleted all the way. I win!
Nope.
It's a new Pokemon battle. I was just walking through the tall grass. He had a second form that he was an entire wall robot. It was just the entire background of your screen was now what his mind went into. It was no longer that humanoid form. It was tentacles and laser beams and a floating giant head. And it was, I died there. I died.
So it was based on Freud.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
See, that is its own trope in the final boss is the second level of boss.
Yeah.
Once you beat them in their first form, then they have their ultimate form, because apparently only pain brings that out of them in the end.
Yeah.
And the idea of the final boss, to me, well, I guess this is because I didn't actually get to the very end of the game, but in Elden Ring, every boss you face is like a final boss. Like they're all their own final bosses of their own little respective areas. Like there's no such thing as a mini boss when it comes to all those.
Elden Ring was dominated by overpowered everything. The scariest boss to me in the entire game is, of course, Bear on Stairs. The bear on the stairs.
The big bear, like the big bear.
The bear.
And he's just a bear.
Because you don't even have to do anything. Like you're like, I'm just going to walk on by him. I forgot he was here. I was just exploring this area. Shit! And you just got through beating like a 25-foot tall demigod that launches himself from the sky like a comet down to the ground and kills 20 people around you. And that you're planning for, you're prepping for, you're okay with, but the bear on the stairs.
And it's just a bear. You do have these grotesque monster, mutant, giant things, gods, things that can kill ghosts. How do you do that? How do you kill a ghost? I don't know, but they found a way. And then there's just Bear. And Bear is your final boss of that game.
It's scary. Now, have I killed Bear? Yes. That's before they nerfed the Bloodhound Fang.
Yeah.
But
Bear comes back. Does Bear come back?
Bear comes back every time. You can just go to a rest point and then go back to the stairs, and Bear is back.
There's Big Bear.
He's
on the
an
stairs.
immortal final boss god.
Wow.
So one of the most adorable tropes that I've seen, interspecies adoption. Like, Mr. Krabs and his daughter.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
adorable. And especially when you see it in real life, it's the cutest thing.
Absolutely. Wait. Interspecies adoption in real
Yeah,
life?
yeah.
Like when you adopt a dog?
No. Like, for instance, my sister had a pit bull.
Yeah.
Okay? He just come home with a cat that was his cat now.
Oh,
And then the kitty had babies, and he would let them sleep up against them, and he loved them like they were his babies.
That is the cutest. Or
Yeah.
like the videos where you see like the little puppy and the duck and they're best friends.
Yeah, exactly that.
Oh man,
It's the cutest of the tropes.
it really is.
And we're like a dog will be able to have a litter of puppies, and it's also got like this kitten that it's adopted that's a stray that comes up and can also nurse and survive.
Yeah,
I'm not going to cry.
You're right.
I know.
It is the cutest.
Freaking adorable.
But
is
then
what
I
it
keep
is.
thinking about Mr. Krabs and his daughter. She's a whale.
Yeah.
The funny thing there is he's very small and she is very large.
Me darling Pearl.
Pearl, thank you. I totally forgot the name of her.
Yes, you know me.
Man, I didn't even think of cute ones. Everyone I come up with was not
Horrifying?
cute. I wish I would see more cute ones, but I don't think the cute ones show up as much.
Well, I mean, I watch a lot of animal videos on YouTube, and sometimes, when I'm feeling sad, I watch cute
Yeah,
stuff
that's
like
true.
that.
Sometimes if you're feeling sad, watching cute dogs will just let you go ahead and drain out the reservoirs behind your eye holes.
Yeah, do not watch dogs reunited with soldiers.
No, absolutely not.
Well, it's better than the other way around when they're reunited with the soldier and the soldier didn't make it. Those are terrible. But at least when they're reunited, they're happy.
I deal with the
You'll
dog
still cry either way.
I deal with the dog reunited with the soldier every day of my life.
Every day.
Dane could be gone outside mowing the yard for 2 hours, and it's the soldier returning from war. And
Yeah.
just,
Spinning in circles, losing his mind, crying. He didn't think I was ever going to come back home. And I walked to the mailbox and came back. And I've returned from war, son. I have vanquished the enemy.
that is sad.
It is nice, though. It's a nice feeling getting home to someone losing their freaking mind that you've arrived after being gone for so little. And that's just me talking about Carly. And then there's Willie too.
You
I knew it was Carly the whole time.
Yeah, you did.
You like that dog more than you like me. You're loving her on her so much more. Well, honey, you don't piss yourself when I come home. I just need to make sure that everything's okay. You should step it up.
Yeah, start pissing yourself, and then you'll be even.
Little shit will piss yourself from excitement. Daddy's home. And I'm talking about the dog. No.
What about I have no son? That trope.
Yeah.
Whenever the disownment, and a lot of times it's the villain, and whenever their son isn't bound to world domination, and they haven't gone the way they thought, they disown them. What are you losing your mind about?
I should have been a better father to you instead of training my mind and my body to kill you in this machete fight.
That movie with the Amish people.
No. Sorry. You'll listen back to what I just said and be able to understand it. Dewey Cox.
Oh, wrong kid.
Wrong
died.
kid.
Wrong kid died.
I should have been a better father to you, Dewey, instead of training my body and my mind to kill you in this machete fight.
Thank you. Now I've got you. You're right. If I could listen back to that, I would have understood. That was my favorite. You're no son of mine.
Yes, that's a good.
But that's always a good moment to where a lot of times that's the hero's journey of the son distancing themselves from the father that has disowned them, and they start their own path and become their own man. And in the end, it's what the father wanted from them all along.
And that's what he said in the note that the kid read from the father after the father died, because that's all he left him in the will.
Yeah.
Just like the song A Boy Named Sue. Son, I gave you that name so you could be strong because I knew I wouldn't be there for you.
Is that what that song's about?
Yeah, pretty much.
I didn't know.
It's a good song.
I bet it
It's
is.
old. It's Johnny Cash.
Oh, that's why I know what it is. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
one
why
of
I
the
know
greatest musicians of all time. And I said that with all honesty.
I believe it. Yeah, I did. There was no facetiousness
There wasn't.
in that at
I
all.
love Johnny Cash.
I like Johnny Cash a lot. I don't think he's one of the greatest musicians of all time, but I do like his music a lot.
And just like in his 9 Inch Nails cover, one of the lines is, "What have I become?" That's our next trope.
What have I become?
Yeah. Like, Spider-Man gets bit by the radioactive spider, and he's looking in the mirror, and there's like a little bit of web on his wrist, and he's looking, he's like, oh my God, I've changed so much. What am I now?
Yeah, and then he also has in some story arcs of Spider-Man, what if I become transformed into a giant human spider?
And then he gave birth to himself. I'm pretty sure Seven told me about that. Let me find that exactly to where. Does that ring any bells?
I don't remember Seven saying that, but
no, Seven said that Mary Jane died because of Peter's radioactive semen.
That was also a thing that he enlightened us
yeah.
on. But no, he also told me about. Let's see. He said Spider-Man once morphed into a giant spider and then gave birth to himself.
Weird.
That's really a what if I become, where you give birth to yourself in that moment. And it's true. There is actually a comic where that happened.
That's one of those I'm my own grandpa situations.
Yeah, the classic go back in time move.
Yeah.
That's where Back to the Future almost ended up, right?
Yeah.
Was that almost an I'm my own dad kind of thing?
Yeah, pretty much.
And they poke a lot of good fun at it on some Family Guy as well. They're always good about poking some fun and stuff. But they said you can't tell me that this doesn't look like that guy Marty that was at our high school for less than a year. You can't tell me he doesn't look exactly like him. The time frame fits.
Well, they named their child after him.
And you named your
and when he accidentally set the living room rug on fire, they went easy on him because Marty said if that was to theoretically happen, you should go easy on your kid.
I need to watch those movies again.
They're so good.
That's the thing.
Except
I think
for number 3.
I think I've only seen them once, like ever.
What?
And I know that's one of those movies you watch a lot of times.
Are we going to have to scene at these?
I think so. That is, yes, we are going to have to do that. But I'll actually have to watch it though.
Yeah, watch it first.
Okay, well, I'll watch them first, and then we can do that. The what have I become thing? The first thing that comes to my mind is that moment to where the first kill happens.
Yeah.
It's somebody who's like either decided that, okay, I'm going to be a vigilante, I'm going to, fight my own side of justice, and they do their first kill, and it's the what have I become? Like, now I can never go back kind of thing.
And then Linkin Park cues up, and then What I've Done starts playing in the back.
Yeah. I even used this trope in the Teddy story from episodes back.
That's true.
Yeah.
And the story you wrote.
I know the one I wrote, and I thought I was tropeless.
No, you were not tropeless.
I was trying for tropelessness.
One of my favorite what have I become moments that actually turns into a good thing and a character grounding trait is in Man of Steel, where, spoiler alert, at the end, when he snaps Zod's neck, because there is no alternative in that moment. It's someone that is more powerful than him and more strategic than him, and will he'll stop at nothing to make sure that Clark suffers, that Kal-El suffers, and he's about to kill people in the train station, and then Superman has to snap his neck in that moment, and he screams in agony of what he just did, because he's never been someone to even imagine killing anyone, but he had to do it in that moment, and that was a what if I become, but that gave him the realization of this is what it feels like to actually do that.
He didn't want to do it no more.
He became Superman after that moment happened.
Did they couple that with the sad guy shower scene?
No.
That would have been so good, though.
You had the awkward shower thing to where he comes out of the ocean after like the oil rig thing. And then he has to like get clothing off of a clothesline kind of a situation. But he's drenched, and that's where you go, holy shit, this dude is yoked.
Yeah. He gets up out that ocean, and he'd been doing like 7,000 push-ups before that scene.
Well, he was down there hanging with Aquaman, wrestling dolphins and whatnot.
I don't think
canonically in that moment he was, but eventually, sure.
I don't think he knew what an Aquaman was at that time.
I still don't know what an Aquaman is.
Well, he's basically on the receiving end of something here. Like if the water breaks, he's the delivery guy.
Is the delivery guy your trope?
The delivery guy is a trope.
I knew it.
The delivery guy that just gets to be just Joe Schmo. It doesn't have to have anything to do with a doctor. It just so happens to be that this is the man to deliver your baby.
Oh, that delivery guy. I thought we were talking like the pizza guy.
No.
Can we get a mailman to deliver a baby?
Oh, absolutely.
Ooh, yes.
Because the packages are always on time.
Oh, it's perfect. Can his last name be Stork?
Only if he leaves it at the back door.
Okay. It can be Jonathan Stork if you want.
Jonathan Stork is a great name for a mailman.
Jonathan Storks with an X.
Now it's perfect.
Perfect.
See, we had it right there,
Yeah.
and I had no idea how to bring it over the
He
edge.
delivers mail and babies.
And ass whoopings. He's also
ass
a vigilante.
Oh my God. I love this here already.
Me too.
He drives one of them little bitty mail trucks, one of the little LLVs.
Yeah.
This is the one where a woman who is giving birth and a man has to always be a male, must coach her through the process. It may be played for laughs, and the man pulls horrified faces at the sight of what's happening between the woman's legs, or it might be an emotionally charged melodrama. That was everything, actually, on the last episode of The Power that I watched, because even though it did not have like this male birthing coach thing happening, there was a male who had nothing to do with a birth. He stumbled upon a birth, and he had to witness said birth and then eat some of the placenta.
I'm sorry?
Yeah, it's
Just some random ass placenta. Just fry it up and eat
but
it.
so what happens?
Goes good with eggs.
So what happens is they're showing this dramatic, like this woman's giving birth. She's the leader of this general resistance of this, whatever it is on The Power. I can't describe it to you.
Okay.
But it showed the angle of the underneath as the baby's head was coming out. And I made an audible noise on the couch. And
Yum.
No.
Oh.
But
My bad. I read the situation wrong.
if I knew that was going to happen, I would have probably, not been affected that much. Like, oh, this is coming up here in a second. But instead, it was just like, oh, here's her shoulder. There's all the people around her. There's a head gina.
It was a jump scare.
It was a jump scare to me. Then my wife just kind of side eyes over to me like huff.
Look, childbirth is like watching a horror movie, okay? I've seen it. It's horrifying.
A wet St. Bernard coming in through the cat door.
Pretty much. And there's poopy sometimes.
No.
Yeah, in the words of the late, great Jeff Foxworthy.
I'm glad I've never caused a human being to have to go through that.
I haven't either, but I was forced to watch it in school. I watched all the various forms of childbirth. Oh, God.
Oh,
And
no.
I was in a class with one other guy and a bunch of women, and he and I are both horrified, and all the ladies are like, oh, it's so sweet and precious. And I'm like, no, it's not. This is like watching Jason.
They have to gaslight themselves into that idea because it has to make it okay for if they were to do that in the future, because if they felt the same way you did, I don't think it would ever
Some
happen.
of them had already done it a couple of times.
That's true. That is very true. Where we went to school. Yeah.
I forgot about
Well, no,
that.
I'm talking like college time. Sorry.
Oh, I was thinking high school times.
yeah, no,
yeah,
I was talking college
Oh,
times.
I was thinking high school times.
Yeah, when we went to high school times,
Yeah,
that would
that-
definitely be the situation to where
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, that's pretty much what it's like. I have a home video.
I
Did
filmed it on my LG flip phone.
You know how sometimes
It's a
we
razor phone.
yeah, the razor, Ooh, the chocolate. Remember
Oh,
the chocolate
God, yeah.
phone?
Ooh, or
That
the
was-
juke, the little bitty stick
little-
that swung around.
Yeah, that one was
that you had to
wild.
dial with a pencil.
Man, phones used to be cool. Now they're just boring super technology.
They're just squares
They're just
of
dumb. Yeah, dumb rectangles. Did you know how sometimes we talk about anime boobies and how if there's a gust of wind at all, they just
Jiggle physics.
There's a name for that as a trope.
Is it? Can we guess what it is real quick?
Everybody gets one.
Okay, windy titties.
Okay, that's good. I like it, but it's not correct. Wrong. Austin?
Jiggle physics?
No, that's what we call it, but that is also not the, at least tvtropes.org definition. It is gainaxing.
What?
Gainaxing. Gainaxing. So the thing underneath it says every single movement just sends boob quakes or waves of boob quakes all around the place. It's just, why does it have to be so jelly?
That's awesome. It's like the boobs are the glass on the dashboard of the Jurassic Park vehicle.
How did I know that's where you was going?
It says, I would very much prefer the boob jiggles if they were a bit less over the top because those seem to be made of some kind of, well, cornstarch liquid. Jello everywhere.
Yep. Who black in a balloon?
Yeah. It really is. It's one of those, whenever you see it in the anime, if it's really early on, you can pretty much know the way a lot of that's going to go from the rest of the time and probably just move on to a different show.
Yep. Occasionally, you're not going to get that in the anime until it gets to the beach scene, and then every one of them is like
And
that.
the tentacles shoot out of the ground.
The beach, yep. Oh, wait.
Huh?
I think you saw
Tiny, no.
I think you saw a different one than we saw.
That was a different genre of
And I
anime.
still don't like anime.
It starts with an H and it ends with a fire dog.
I have one last one on my list to be very on brand for us. Do you two have any more?
I have one more.
You have one more? Austin, do you have one more?
Yes, actually.
You have one more.
Yes, just
okay.
it's a squick one.
It's a squick one?
Yeah, it is.
That's even quicker than a quick one.
You're liking it.
Mine is called poop socking. Are you familiar with poop socking?
I feel like I should be.
I think you should.
As a poop knifist, I
It's-
feel like I should be.
A wielder of the blade.
As a brother of the blade, I feel like I should know what this is.
Oh, a poop socking is when you're gaming so much that you cannot pause, you cannot quit to go to the bathroom. So you find the nearest sock and you poop into the sock and you keep playing. This isn't a real thing. No one actually does this.
I've never even seen this trope.
It's not, I know, but it's apparently one. Austin, we've seen it in South Park in the episode where they're playing WoW, and then Cartman has to have his mother bring down the diarrhea bucket.
Mom! Bathroom!
Yes. And
Bathroom!
She brings down the bucket. So that's poop socking. But
So it doesn't have to physically be a sock.
right.
It's
It's,
just-
right. It's
Okay,
just
okay.
the idea.
It's literally
Okay.
pooping into anything else that is not going up away from the computer and going to the toilet.
It's
Like
being
20-liter
able
bottle.
to stay right. It's being able to stay in the game.
Yeah, okay.
But there's also anti-poop socking, which is something that I believe came out with the Nintendo Wii, to where it would say, hey, you should probably take a break for a minute and go do something else. I don't know, maybe the bathroom, because they would have little moments to where it's like, why not take a break? And trying to get you to go not poop in a sock. So I'm thinking that Nintendo maybe have gotten some lawsuits that we didn't know about behind the scenes,
Maybe.
to where they're really covering their bases with that one.
Look, probably happened after, hold your Wii for the Wii.
That was a movement. You're right. A lot of movement, a lot of squiggly movement, because you couldn't go to the bathroom
Well,
if you're in the middle of
someone
a
died.
Wii fight. Wait, what?
No, it was like a radio thing.
Oh,
These
it's
people-
real?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought
it was
you
a
were
real
just
thing. No,
spitballing.
people.
Oh.
They did this thing, hold your Wii for a Wii. They had 3 or 4 people on there, and they just had to keep pounding water, and the last one to pee got the Wii. One of the ladies participating in this died from holding her pee.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's a real thing. You can Google it.
How can you keep your body from peeing?
I don't know. I thought you would
Like,
just
to the
have
point of
just
death.
peed.
Yeah. That's like holding your breath until you just die from no oxygen. Like
Yeah.
eventually your body just says, no, we're breathing now.
That actually happened at an episode of Euphoria. Whatever her name was on there, Zendaya's character, I forget her name, but Rue? Is that her name on
I have
Euphoria?
no idea. I think you're thinking of Winnie the Pooh.
No.
That is the name of the kangaroo in Winnie the Pooh.
No, well, I don't remember her name.
Oh,
but
okay.
The kangaroo and Winnie the Pooh was.
But
Wendaya.
anyway, she's so she's so depressed in this show that she has to pee so bad, but she's not getting out of bed. She's just so depressed she doesn't want to get out of bed. She has to pee so bad, so she holds her pee in so long in her bedroom, and this is like 2-3 days that she's holed up in that bedroom in this I'm not going to take drugs, but yet my body's rejecting everything. Oh, I've got to pee so bad, but I'm not moving. It started to shut down her kidney. So if it can actually start taking those toxins and everything that are filtered out and shoved into your bladder and start putting them back into your body, then your body goes septic.
Yeah.
That's what happened to this lady for the
Essentially,
Wii. Oh, dang.
Well, I think hers was also coupled with water toxicity.
Oh, from basically drowning yourself from drinking too much water?
Yeah, it was like a dual thing.
That was one of my favorite
Damn.
System of the Down songs.
Dual thing?
No, toxicity.
Okay.
Mine is Sudden Sequel Death Syndrome, which
Okay.
sounds like it could definitely be a System of a Down song.
Yeah, it really does.
But this is pretty much what we get in every season of Grey's Anatomy. where anybody can be killed at any point in time, just like we found out in Game of Thrones. Anybody can get killed at any time.
Right.
It's
Rest
one of
in
the
peace, Ned.
It's one of those like. And here's the thing: in the books, the way everybody is left on that cliffhanger in the books of Jon Snow is pretty much dying. The way that it goes is that this is what he's left on the cliffhanger of right here is the sudden sequel death syndrome. Just because nobody knows if in the books it's actually going to be, as soon as you open up into it, that it's going to be Jon Snow's going to survive somehow. Like, he could die in the next book just because anybody is fair game. And that's sickening to think, because they already went that one direction with the show.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to do that in the book. They can just go ahead and just knock you in the face, hurt you.
Yeah, they do that frequently.
See, I think I'd prefer that. I've bitched about this before in the past, but in the Batman v Superman movie,
They should have left him without the floaty fucking dirt.
Yeah, they spoiled the revival of Superman, even though, yes, everyone knows, but whatever, still. They didn't do the sequel thing of bringing him back in some epic fashion of everybody, at least in that world, thinking that he's dead for good, right? Because if you, as a viewer, see the dirt lifting off the thing, it's just a matter of time before everyone there also knows that he's still alive. So that imagination of what do these people think now that he's gone is kind of muddied a little bit to where you can't really see that because And I think they should have stuck with this trope of maybe the death possible sequel thing. What was it called?
I already closed it out. The sudden sequel death syndrome.
Yes, I think they should have went with that opposed to.
It doesn't even. It doesn't have to always just be like you've died. You've died. Like, it just could be you've been written out, and they made fun of that. In Shazam 2, Fear of the Gods. So
really,
yeah. In Fury of the Gods, they had a. Which this isn't spoiling anything because it's not going to go anywhere. They had a post-credit scene with Dr. Savannah and Mr. Mind, just like they had in the first movie, a post-credit scene. And then Mr. Mind's coming in there, and he comes in and he talks to Dr. Savannah. And Dr. Savannah's like, "Where have you been? It's been like 5 years." And he said, "I had urgent things that I had to tend to. But now our master plan can unfold." And he's like, "Well, okay, what are we going to do? What can we do? I don't have magic anymore, da-da-da." And he said, "I have other things to take care of before I can tell you." And he just slithers out of the window again. Just because they don't know.
It went nowhere the first time.
Exactly. So they decided, okay, fine, that went nowhere. It's probably going to go nowhere. Let's make fun of it.
That's
and
great.
I loved that.
I do too. I love that idea. To where instead of falling short of everyone's expectations, you're like, no, we also fell short of those of our own expectations, so we're just going to run with that.
Yeah, and I'm going to pretend the post-credit scene didn't happen because that was embarrassing.
I didn't see that one.
The post
Is that
credit
one you can spoil? That won't ruin anything?
Yeah, it's basically the two C grade characters from the Suicide Squad coming in. Outside Dave, and then the other blonde girl.
Inside Dave?
No, Outside Dave from New Girl.
Yeah.
But they're basically walking through the woods. They're like, "I can't believe this next guy is on Waller's list." Da 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 da. And they show up, and Shazam is in the woods at an old abandoned gas station, like shooting cans with his lightning fingers. And they're like, we want you to become part of the Justice. And he's like, "Yes, absolutely, I'll be a part of the Justice League." They're like, "The Justice Society of America." He's like, "Oh, well, is that the one that Wonder Woman's in?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Okay, I guess."
It's not going to go anywhere, probably. Or you think it will, because those characters are from James Gunn's world, right?
Yeah, Suicide Squad's James Gunn, right? No.
So, yeah, the newest one is, yeah.
Okay, so maybe.
So that could lead somewhere, so you might like it.
Who knows?
Instead of hate it.
But it really was bad.
Wow.
I didn't like the way it looked on the screen. Yeah. So
I thought you were going to say they were trying to recruit him to the Suicide Squad. And I was
no.
just like, excuse me?
So that doesn't work out.
So wrong.
No, it didn't.
Tiny, how are we going to close it out?
Recycled lodged blade. Like, Hero gets stabbed with blade.
Yes.
Hero pulls out blade and then stabs the previously stabber, and that person becomes the new stabbee.
Right. And if they were to take it out and stab the hero back again, then you've got an infinite loop.
Well, at that point, they're just playing catch.
Although, as a brother of the blade, for yourself, just all it takes is one good slash with the poop knife, and they're done for.
Oh,
they know
absolutely.
it's just a matter of time. It's like a poisoned blade.
Yeah, it is. Like the second that blade enters your body, you have amoebic dysentery.
Probably.
That's when.
Is that what that's called?
Yeah, amoebic dysentery. It's whenever you get a bacteria inside of your intestines that doesn't allow them to do anything else besides expel, and you shit yourself to death.
Oh, no.
Maybe it could just be a poop transplant.
I learned that on a movie about Peter Pan.
Excuse me? There's a movie about Peter Pan where somebody gets stabbed in the stomach with a poop knife and then shits themselves to death?
No, but the
That's weird.
It was
That's
in the movie. It
strange.
was in the movie Hook. It was they talked about amoebic dysentery in the movie Hook, and I remembered that from my early childhood, and it's lodged in my brain
What
ever since.
site did you download that from?
Yeah.
Because I never want to go there.
It's not a site. It's the movie Hook. It had freaking Robin Williams in it. It's
How
real.
was Hook spelled?
HEWK. Like Blake Shelton said it. Hook.
Oh, well, we're going to leave y'all on the hook until next week, whenever hopefully Marcus will be back with us and we'll get to talk about the fun thing we wanted to talk about this week. Thank you for hop, skipping, and jumping around on some tropes with us today. It's always fun to me to find out all these different things that have names that I never thought actually had names. Please don't give someone a pineapple surprise. Instead, click 5 stars and then tell everyone why you love us and why you would never give us a pineapple surprise unless it's the tree that eventually grows into a pineapple tree. That's the good kind.
Or a pineapple in a box.
Or a pineapple in a box, just simply pineapple in a box. Also a very good gift. And then as another gift to put in the box with the pineapple is a t-shirt with our logo and stuff on it. I've even got one that I wore the other day that says, oh gosh, oh geez, oh man. And it's got a little flowery design around it that I was really happy with that design. And it looks great. I got it in off-white and I like the way that looks. But the link to that Redbubble link is in the description. And we just had someone the other day texting us saying they wanted a shirt, but they needed one in like was it a 4XL? I think it's 4XL?
4 or 5XL.
4 or 5XL. But they have those sizes. They have all sizes from extra small all the way to that. So it doesn't matter. Our fans come in all walks of sizes of life. So it's there for you. Now Willie wants to be on the episode.
He said
now he does.
He said you forgot about me.
I didn't. Yeah, sorry, Willie.
Well, if you guys want to get on our social medias and talk to us, maybe shoot us a message. You can get on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter by looking up @NerdGrapevine. While you're on there, you can talk to me a little bit about the things we discussed in today's episode. And if you want to, we can talk about things that you would use to make a makeshift parachute out of. With me, I already know it's attached to me. And
absolutely.
Since I am a man in my mid-30s, I can attest to this. It is a
You
bat
can
wing.
attest
I can attest to
to this.
I can attest to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried. It just
Yeah,
didn't.
no, it
It
worked.
just didn't come
It
out the
worked
right
for
way.
me.
It didn't come out the right way. I tried to talk about balls and it didn't. Just whatever. Stretchy sack. So, if you want to donate a little bit to the cause, get on Patreon. Look up Nerd Grapevine. Donate a little bit of money. Get a shiny holographic sticker with our logo on there. Don't try to talk too fast like an auctioneer whenever you're trying to tell people about your descriptions of stuff, because then you might cause them to have some
some hearing difficulties. So now, after you've given us 5 pineapples on your, podcatcher of choice, go down in the description of this episode and you'll find a link that'll take you to a social networking site known as Discord. It's not like Facebook. It's not like MySpace. It is a private server hosted by different people. And the one that link will take you to is ours.
Yay.
And you'll be part of the backyard bonanza. If you've been a long-time listener, you'll know exactly what that is. If you're not, you got homework. So get on over there. Be part of our conversations. Sometimes we play RPGs. Sometimes we watch movies together. Sometimes we just post random, weird, funny things that happen to us. So just join us. It's fun. We're on there live, uncut, uncensored, and irrevocably circumcised.
And we've also played video games and stuff on YouTube, which one day we'll revive that.
Yeah,
one
Daddy.
day we will revive that and play some more games. And I believe I've got all the Best Friends Tiny Kitchen stuff on there now, don't I? Or do I not?
One of these days.
One of these days.
One of these days, we'll revive Best Friend's Tiny
Yeah,
Kitchen.
It'll be fun. And as an ingredient for whenever we do want to revive that, we may have some grapes. And Tiny, what will you do when life gives you those grapes?
I would take the grapes
Yes.
and I would put them in a bowl
Okay.
with a little bit of water.
Yeah.
And a little bit of sugar.
Okay.
And mix them around with a stick blender.
Yeah.
And then I would get a hot water bottle and take that grape slurry and put it in there.
All right.
And then put a tube on that end and put the tube up my ass.
Yeah.
And squeeze the grapes in there.
A grape enema.
And then when it came out, it
It's
would look like
called-
peanut butter and jelly.
It's called a grenema.
I'm not going to grin through any part
How do you
of
think?
that enema.
How do you think they
It
make
would
the
be
filling
dope.
to Uncrustables?
It would be dope.
Oh, no.
If he was uncircumcised, it'd be a red hood.
Hold on, I gotta go get the tea. I gotta go get the tea off the stove. Well, the kettle's boiling.